Okay, take a look at what's going on with the storm. I'm kind of reading right up to the end here, showing you what's going on with the storm. Hurricane Florence, it did look a little bit ragged earlier, and it's doing the tighten up as far as the eye, looking a little bit cleaner and better, just a little bit more circular here. So again, it's really, really likely to continue to intensify coming up in the next 24 to 48 hours. Very, very strong storm right now. I want to show you once again where it is in relation to everybody. The Bahamas on down into here. Here's where we are. Here's Bermuda right here. It's a fairly small storm in terms of its area. It doesn't occupy a lot of the earth right now, but it's expected to widen out a bit, just a bit, in terms of the rainfall and the wind field with this 140-mile-an-hour winds. That's maintained. West-northwestward movement at 17 miles an hour, and again, it's been continuing. It's been kind of wobbling westward a little bit too, occasionally, taking a couple of wobbles westward and then continuing west-northwestward. So everything is still on track for it to come very, very close to Wilmington, North Carolina, coming up by Friday morning. Here's where things are by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock, 155-mile-an-hour winds. I suspect that during the afternoon it'll get bumped up to that speed. There's where things are coming up by Thursday morning at 8. By Thursday evening at 8, it's got 130-mile-an-hour winds. And there's where it is by Friday at the noon hour. It's hanging a little bit of a left turn there a bit, according to the Hurricane Center with this latest track. Now, the track and the cone are fairly tight, going up into about the 8 o'clock in the evening time frame, Thursday evening. Then it gets a little bit wider, and then it shifts it on off to the west. It's still going to be a very, very strong storm. 130-mile-an-hour winds, only weakens to 110 between noon and 8 o'clock. So 8 hours they're going to be under the gun, or very, very close to the eye of that storm. Worst part of the storm in terms of seeing that 110 or 130-mile-an-hour winds is going to be just to the north of the path, just to the right of the path, within about 50 miles. And that's where the really, really strongest winds and tides are going to be. They're likely to see a tidal rise of around 15 to 20 feet. By Saturday evening at 8, 50-mile-an-hour winds. There's where things are by Sunday evening at 8, 30-mile-an-hour winds, and that is basically a tropical depression. And it's just kind of wobbling around into there. Now, the cone is very, very wide at that point because the forecast models are just all over the place in terms of where it's going to go in the long run. In the short run through Friday, they're fairly tight right on into here. But as they approach land, they kind of go all over the place. So we'll have to watch what that does. But I'm reasonably confident in the long run that we're going to end up okay out of this. It's going to get nasty, but it's not going to be as bad, for example, as Isabel. So it's uncertain in the long run. Here's the Euro. Show you what's going on with that one. Again, that one takes it right on up to Wilmington, and then it hangs a left, goes down the coastline. There's where things are by 7 o'clock in the morning. So it's a long time into the Wilmington area. It goes toward Charleston, 1 o'clock in the morning, late Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then finally by 10 o'clock in the morning, it's made landfall into the Charleston, Savannah area. And then from there on in, it starts to move toward Atlanta and then on up toward about Louisville, Kentucky by Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. It's a long time to be out there. Now, there's where things are in terms of rainfall. 3 to 6 inches of rainfall with the Euro, over a foot of rainfall. I've seen estimates all the way up to 20 inches of rainfall for that particular area. Now, the GFS is still uncertain in the long run as well, but this one has come around to what's going on with the Euro. Makes landfall at Wilmington, and then decides it wants to head southward and southwestward. There's where things are by 2 o'clock in the morning, late Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then that one, too, makes landfall again near the Charleston area and moves it on up toward Columbia, South Carolina, and then on up through the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and then on up toward about Stanton in Virginia. So, yeah, there's some uncertainty remaining in this one. Now, the latest run of the GFS gives us a lot less rain, 3 to 6 inches of rainfall possible out of that, over 12 inches possible farther southward. So what's going on with all of this in terms of what can we expect? Confidence is higher for the forecast track. That's going to stay well to the southwest. But after it makes landfall, after it gets toward Wilmington, a lot of uncertainty about what it's going to do. So we still need to watch it. Tidal flooding around 5.5 to 6 feet. that's kind of an estimate. That's an estimate at this point. We'll finesse that as we get closer to it. Isabel was about 2 feet higher than that. So again, it's not going to be an Isabel. Gusts over 40 for Virginia. Gusts over 75 for Hatteras. Nags Head, the gusts will be around 60. Heavy rain could still be a threat, but right now it's looking like it'll be mainly to the southwest of our area, toward Rocky Mount, toward Raleigh, Durham, some of those places. So 86 tomorrow. Good chance of rain on Thursday, and then Thursday night into Friday, into Saturday, and really even into Sunday. We'll see some rain out of it. Stay tuned. Jeremy will have more at 4 o'clock in the morning.